Yes, and welcome to C3Arts Radio. This is your loyal host, Philip Harvey, coming live and direct to you from City College, New York. Of course, the college on the hill. And we are the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts. And we're here in the studio. I have my right-hand man with me, Mr. Winston Brewington. How you doing today, Winston?
I'm doing great today, man. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good, you know.
Yeah, looks like we beat the snowstorm.
Yeah, for once. And the snowstorm didn't beat us, at least not at this point in time.
Yeah.
You know, who knows, though? Another nor'easter.
Yeah, that's true.
I
In New York, you never know.
I don't even know where this term came from, nor'easter. It seems like that's pretty new. I don't remember them saying nor'easter back in the day.
Yeah, they're always trying to come up with these names to make it sound scarier than it actually is.
Yeah.
Keep us on our toes.
I can imagine. Well, we got a great show lined up for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And you know that we come to you every Tuesday right here at WHCR 90.3 FM, 5 o'clock every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, right here at the Voice of Harlem. And you can also catch us online. You can catch us. We live stream at WHCR.org. And you can also check us out at tunein.com. And you'll find us at WHCR-FM. And there are various other kind of carrier website, aggregate online radio stations that you can check out, C3Arts Radio. So keep a lookout for us, and we'll have all the information for you. And if you really want to get all the information, well, what you should do is go online and check us out via our social media, of course, right? That's at C3Arts Radio on Twitter, at C3Arts Radio on Instagram, and C3ArtsRadio.com, of course, the number one website in the world in terms of just how beautiful this thing is. I can tell you, we keep adding to it, and it just gets more and more gorgeous. It's such a mosaic. I love it. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. Well, we have a great show lined up for you today, as usual. Good people. And we haven't been really keeping you up to date with the information. You know, our show is about not only introducing you to the movers and shakers of the world of cultural arts, but also to give you the information, right? Where to go, what to see, what to do. And though there's a whole universe of fantastic work in the cultural arts out there, we try to do our part to give you our suggestions. Winston and I, we try to give you our suggestions in our segment we call Sliced Fruit, after the great Brooke Stevenson, meaning sliced fruit, you know, something healthy and nutritious for you. A slice of it. We just take a slice of it and give it to you. That's what it's all about. We're going to get into that a little bit. But first of all, as the broadcast arm of the City College Center for the Arts, it is our duty, our responsibility to make sure that you are in the know about what's happening here at City College and on the stages of Aaron Davis Hall, right, the City College Center for the Arts. So let's get started with that, okay? So now, on Saturday, 2 p.m., nice daytime activity, we have a program we call Sing Into Tomorrow. It's a book party with children's book author and illustrator Nina Cruz. Now, I love, you know how we love the hybrids here at C3 Arts Radio, people who do many things, because so many people are so multifaceted, so multi-talented, and Nina Cruz is, of course, one of them. So she is the writer and the illustrator, and both of them are very gorgeous. So it's a fantastic program for you to bring your children. We want to see them. We need to see more of them around Aaron Davis Hall, around City College Center for the Arts. So it's going to take place Saturday, March 24th at 2 p.m., Aaron Davis Hall, in Theater B and the lobby, the grand lobby of Aaron and Davis Hall. Now, we got a little bit more coming up for you, too. One of the thing that you know that you can depend upon City College Center for the Arts to present, to bring to you, is, of course, all forms of dance. Of course, we have a partnership with the Cooney Dance Initiative, which brings us a lot, and then just largely based upon our own desire, our own emphasis. We want to make sure that you know. So coming up, Thursday, March 29th, Okay, so we have the 24th, and then we have the 29th. We have Polly Freeman's Glamour Tango, a celebration of women in tango. It's going to take place. There are going to be two shows, 12 p.m. and 7 p.m. Who's not a fan of the tango? So make sure that you go to citycollegecenterforthearts.org and check it out. And we're going to get into a little bit of music, and we'll be right back. This is C3 Arts Radio. Please know that you can listen to us not only here, but check us out online as well. We got a fantastic show lined up for you. We'll be right back. And we are back. Always, always back, ladies and gentlemen, right here, WHCR 90.3 FM, C3 Arts Radio, the broadcast arm of City College Center for the Arts. And just a moment ago, I promised you that we were going to have a fantastic show for you today. And I'm not one, hopefully you listen to us enough now here to know that I'm not one to exaggerate very much.
Well,
Well, you see, Melody Vaughn
I'm
has
just,
snuck into the door as
I'm
well.
just here
The
to,
great Melody Vaughn.
But,
I don't.
I made it. I made it.
Yeah, I see. Fantastic. I don't exaggerate, do I?
No, you just expand the beauty of things and
No.
make you want to participate in the party. So I wouldn't call it exaggerating. You
Okay.
just,
All right. Okay.
speak truth.
All right, speak truth. I can take that. I'll take that. Yeah. Well, the reason why I was saying it on this particular day is that we have a very, very, very special guest here today with us, and you've seen him all over the place. You've heard him all over the place. He is a star of the stage, the screen, and the other stage, the musical stage.
Love it. Renaissance man. All right.
And the paper as well. Currently, he is taking over the role of, not just taking over, he's in the role of George Washington in a little play that you may have heard of here or there. It's called, what's it called? Bro?
I think it's called Hamilton.
Hamilton, that's right. Hamilton, that little small play. A little small play, right? But aside from that, with all jokes aside, he is one of the great young talents that we have. He also played the iconic is not the word. I think I almost used that word too much. Marvin Gaye, of course, in Motown the Musical. You've seen him on television. In one of my favorites, the New Edition story, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
That was dope.
That was a good one.
More than dope, right? More than dope. But also CSI, New York, Persons of Interest, and we can go on and on and on. Of course, I am talking about Mr. Brian Terrell Clark. How are you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? I'm in Harlem on the voice of Harlem. Hey, now.
Brian Terrell Clark, we're so happy to have you here today.
Man, it's a blessing to be here, man. I live in this neighborhood and, had the pleasure of meeting Winston with my brother Dante Winslow.
That's right.
We
Shout
got
out
to
to
shout
Dante.
out to Dante,
Oh.
who
Dante
is a
Winslow.
prolific musician and composer, and he was working on a documentary with HBO, and we were, being, black excellence, turning up a little bit at a little HBO viewing party.
Okay.
Love it.
And I met this brother and
Sounds
his
like trouble.
and I met this brother and his sister, and we just had a great time, man. And he told me the wonderful work that you guys are doing on the air, and it's a blessing to be here, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. And I see that you brought a friend here.
I have Monique Walters. She is black girl magic. Monique, we met on the set of a short film called Love Dante. And she hit me up out of nowhere, and I encourage every student who might possibly be listening to take your shot. Social media is a beautiful thing. If you want to hit somebody up that you admire on Instagram or email, hit them up. She said, I'm interested in interning with you and seeing the work that you do. And I think initially it was just me as an entertainer, but I do a lot of philanthropic work too. And so we have dumped a lot on her plate.
Yeah, go Monique.
Yeah, Monique is heading back to school next week. And so, we're really, really thankful for your time with us. And we hope that you learn some good stuff. And you always got a big brother in Brian.
All right.
Oh, that's
so
much.
good. That sounds
And thank
good.
you for having me. It's been a wonderful experience. I've learned a lot and had a lot of fun. So
Okay.
hopefully I can bring a lot of that back to school.
All right.
Still feel the hustle and bustle in New York City at the same time.
Now, school is.
Dartmouth College in New Hampshire.
All right. Love it.
Yeah, she's smart, y'all. She's
I
smart.
know. And cute. Eminem. Power girl. Love
A
it.
little
Love
something,
it.
a little something.
Yeah.
So Brian, let's go back. We need to. I know you need to get out of here a little bit to get to work.
Yeah,
this
we
evening.
got a show tonight, so
Mhm.
I want to be here for y'all, but some folks paid a lot of money, and y'all know what I mean. They paid a lot of money for these
And
tickets.
what show would that be?
Just a little Hamilton. So I gotta be there a little early.
We know you're from Baltimore.
Yes, sir.
The More, the B More.
The B More.
The B More. And often we have to ask this question, really at the offset, when we have someone who is talented and making so many moves in different areas as well. What is your outlook, your perspective? Do you see there being a separation between what you do in the musical realm and what you do in terms of the acting persona, or was there one that you started and then it kind of branched off into the other? How did you how did these kinds of talents, both when they were recognized and then how did they develop? Was it a synonymous thing? How did this work?
It's interesting that you asked me that. I asked my mother not too long ago when I said I wanted to be an actor, a performer, or a singer, and she said, "Before you can talk." Oh. And I laughed and I said, "No, I said, when did I ask? I don't understand what you mean." And she said, "No, seriously, when your favorite shows or your favorite music would come on, you would just start bouncing." And I think this speaks to parents out there. My mother is the person that I would attribute all of my success to. I also think that, to be honest, I'm one of her greatest successes in life. And I think it's because she took the time to recognize early part of my calling and part of my purpose. And so for me, what stands at the center of what I do is to me what I'm called to do and what my purpose is. I feel like when you're young, oftentimes you look at your talents as the calling. The talents are the car. They're the vehicle. They drive you to the space. They get you to platforms so that you can really do what you're called to do. And for me, I think that at the end of the day, I'm a storyteller. So whether I'm doing that as an actor, whether I'm singing, whether I'm songwriting, we just dropped a single, Jussie Smollett from Empire, his first single. Right. I wrote that song called Freedom. Yeah. With my boy Andre Danak, who did a lot of the music for that. Shout out to y'all. But whether it's doing that, whether it's doing Hamilton, or my gifts expanding. Now I'm starting to write for television and film, and that's a new thing. Okay. Or if it's the fashion line that me and Monique just finished talking about, that's the funding goes to helping at-risk youth, quote unquote at-risk youth, in and arts education. Whatever the space that I'm sent to, I want to help reconcile people. Reconcile people back to themselves, reconcile people back to each other, reconcile people back to something higher than themselves. And I think that I've been really, really blessed that even in my work as an actor, those are the kinds of roles that I get. I mean, if you look at Marvin Gaye and the story of Marvin Gaye, I mean, Motown the musical was insanely powerful because it housed all of those artists. But let's be honest, the Marvin Gaye story could be told all by itself in a show all on its own. And so just the opportunity to get to research who this man was and what his impact was, and his very brave artistic leap into saying, I'm not just going to do what people expect of me and be this sex symbol. I'm actually going to do work that I feel like I'm called to. And then we get songs like What's Going On and Mercy, Mercy Me coming out of this guy. I got a chance to sit inside of that mind for a while. And now I get a chance to sit inside of George Washington, who's the first president of the United States, and who essentially was a farmer, who became a soldier, who became a president, who just wanted to go back to being a farmer. And it's a powerful thing because my first night on playing George Washington was Barack Obama's last speech. Wow. And there's this great song in Hamilton called One Last Time. And essentially George Washington, he's the one who came up with the idea that a president should not be a king. He should only serve 2 terms. That was his idea.
It was the greatest thing that he did, was abdicating the leadership.
Talk about humility, man. To say I'm not going to sit at the highest seat of government forever. This isn't meant for me to do this. And so he did this speech to say goodbye. And every president since, when they're leaving office, does their one last time speech. So I'm singing this song, man. This is funny. I've told this story a couple times. I get to the end of the stage and see, I don't have that real pretty Denzel, one tear cry. I mean, every once in a while I can get my little glory moment, but for the most part, it's either going to be nothing or straight up Viola Davis. And so my hands started shaking, and the Viola Davis snot started pouring. And listen, she's phenomenal, okay? Royalty. And so I was like, okay, what's going on? I don't understand what's emotionally happening. And as I was finishing the song, I looked out at the audience, and all of them were in tears too. And I think collectively we understood that while I was singing that song, the first black president was stepping down. And it was serendipitous. I don't take the responsibility of this role lightly. There was, to be honest, a white woman and her child, and she came backstage. No, she messaged me because I met them backstage, and she said, my child started doing history in school, and he got into an argument with the teacher because he believed that you were George Washington and that George Washington was black. I said, okay, so you know, we're at least opening up the opportunity for diversity in thinking in history.
He's like, I just saw George Washington the other night.
Which leads me to this question, because you got a show like Hamilton, which totally comes out and just like changes the game when it comes to like Broadway and the way people perceive I guess Broadway performers. And now you have movies like Black Panther, you got shows like Atlanta, Insecure, then you have A Wrinkle in Time just came out. How do you think that type of exposure for like young people to just see different types of people, different like women, people of different backgrounds in these prominent roles as superheroes and presidents, how that would affect them later on in life?
You know, to me, the job of the artist is to show society itself. But also the job of the artist is through our work is to inspire. And I think, it's funny because I just told Monique this in our kind of like follow-up meeting. I think sometimes you don't understand what's possible until you see it. And I think that we as Black people have always known that representation is very important. Sometimes I think we overdo it so that every Black person feels like they have to carry the weight of the entire nation of Black people on their shoulders when they step up to do something. But I do think that we are very aware as Black artists that when we get an opportunity to have a platform, that we are inspiring other Black people, both our colleagues, both those that have come before us and those who are coming behind us. So Tisha Campbell, who's a good friend of mine, who's shooting a pilot right now in the city with Regina King. Shout out to y'all.
Hey, to both
She
of them. Love it.
yeah, shout out. I told you it's listen, Black excellence, y'all. She came to the show yesterday, and the only reason I'm bringing her up is not the name drop, but that we had a deep conversation, which is directly related to the question that you just said. And what we literally said is, if Black Panther is a powerful, impactful moment of seeing diversity in action films, she said, I had that same experience on the stage watching you guys in Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that if we look at, and if I'm honest, because I've been out of school since like 2006, it's 2018 now. Professionally, when I get the opportunity to do work, I feel like there's a wealth in the stories that we get to tell in like Motown and New Edition because there's so much history there. But then the complexity of work is not often to me found in musicals, specifically musicals. And I think to be in Hamilton where you have hip hop at the core of it, and I'm talking about classic hip hop fans who come and see this show literally can tell you the references in the music. When you have that complexity, when you have the complexity of the history and our modern day context of that history, let's be honest, we know a lot of these people own slaves and things like that. We're dealing with complex material. To get up there and to say, wait a minute, I actually have to open up my drama school book bag and pull out some of the stuff that I learned in drama school at Yale and pull out some of the Shakespeare stuff that I learned and I don't often get a chance to utilize everything that I'm able to do. And that is a gift that I feel like Hamilton and Black Panther and things like that offer. It's not so much that we can't do these things and we haven't been, it's that people haven't seen it. So the work that a few of my friends who are in Black Panther, or I have friends in Insecure and Atlanta as well, they've been doing that work for years. They've been those people. I'm just so grateful that I live in a time where the world is getting to see what we can really do. And that's the blessing.
Amen.
Oh, so eloquently put.
It's a very powerful generation, I would say, in terms of, because there have been over time kind of periods where you have this kind of Black cultural production, and there's always Black culture, but I mean, with Black cultural production where it's being valued, or seemingly valued on society wide level, but here we have a huge concentration in the work you're doing and all the people that you've been mentioning, where you see the reverberation and the relationships that you're even talking about here, that you're referencing here. seems to hope for something that's more solidified going forward, something that's less easy to kind of roll back in a sense.
Sure.
Do you think we're really ready to make that move forward in terms of our representation?
Oh, brother, we
in a
moving.
more consistent sense?
We already moving. Y'all buckle up. I mean, the way
I
I
like
feel
to hear
about
it.
it is, much respect to our ancestors and to everyone who put in work and died so that we could have these opportunities. I mean, I really feel like that ball has been rolling for a while. And like you said, the only thing that I can say, and I hope that other artists and people that are working in the entertainment industry can really hear my heart on this. I feel like the only thing that's consistent about any business in any marketplace is that it changes. And I think that what happens is, apples are hot today, and so you might be a lemon. And so what happens is you try to shift yourself from being this lemon into this apple, not knowing that in 2 weeks, the marketplace is going to change.
Gotcha.
And now we want a lemon. And you're not the best lemon that you can be. You're this weird apple lemon thing trying to chase the trend. And I think what I've learned in this short amount of time that I've been in this industry is that you want to be the best you that you can be. And when you really tap into the power that is your uniqueness, doing what you do in your industry, the time will come where the marketplace is looking for you, and you will be the best you. And that will push the culture forward because we get the gift of you. There's no other you on the planet. And the marketplace will respond to that. All you have to do is be the best you that you can be. And I think that if you find a way artistically to marry that to the business, because there's still a business part of this too. It's not all art and spirit.
Show business.
Right.
If you can find a way to be consistent in that and show up and really do your job and really come in with your personal level of your best, your excellence, you automatically are a part of pushing the culture forward and continuing the ball rolling.
All right. Well, hey, Brian, I know you got to get out of here. You got to get to work,
Yeah,
man.
brother.
We're just getting started here, but we got to let you go. You have to come back and visit us soon.
I would love to. I would
Yeah,
love to.
absolutely.
Thanks so much.
And
y'all.
definitely.
Monique, yeah.
For having me. It was really fun, just hearing everything, Also, just sort of feeling like Brian's shadow in the sense like I can sort of see his life from my own lens. Just sort of hearing him speak before I go back to school again is just as amazing as when I first met him. So.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Mr. Brian Terrell Clark, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for coming, buddy.
And
Appreciate it.
for
man.
more information, please go to Brian Terrell. That's TERRELL Clark.com. You can also check him out at The Real BTC on Instagram and Twitter. Hey, catch up. He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot going on.
Busy man.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank y'all
Thank
so
you,
much for
brother.
having me.
C3Arts Radio. We'll be right
Thank
back.
you.
dancing with all the men, waiting for the rising sun. Everyone was having fun. I hate to see the lady go. No way, she'll never know that I love her. I love her. Gypsy woman, gypsy woman, gypsy woman, gypsy
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Always back. Right here, C3Arts Radio. And we want to give another shout out. I want to thank Brian Terrell Clark for joining us again today.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
You
He's
like that, huh?
so cool
Yeah.
and cute. I'm just saying.
Good one,
Just
yeah.
gotta throw that in there, you
And
know.
another a physical reference here from Melody Vaughn.
That was awesome, though. God, it's just like his one-liners were amazing. Be the best you can be. You know?
So Brian, of course, had to go to work. He is playing George Washington. He's about to step into his role as George Washington, of course, in Hamilton. And there's so much more to catch up with Brian. So go to Brian Terrell Clark. We even get into his music career, and we talked about writing songs. We talked about his writing songs for Mary J. Blige and performing for everybody from Patti LaBelle to Maxwell and so on and so on. There's so much more to say about Brian. We'll have to get him back up here soon.
Indeed.
Now, we still
What's
have much
next?
more to go for you here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, so as I was saying earlier, we haven't been very forthcoming with the information, at least not here on air. Of course, you can always get that. Go to check us out on social media. That's at C3Arts Radio on Instagram and Twitter. And then, of course, the most beautiful and gorgeous website in the world, c3artsradio.com, to get that information. But we're going to bring it right to you right now, okay? So Winston and I are about to get into our sliced fruit segment.
Hey, what about me? What about me?
Melody's gonna help out here. Melody, you could always chime in. You got an event for us? You could add it in. We're giving the information out today.
Awesome.
We're giving the information out today. So if you've heard us do this before, what we do is we just go back and forth, and we each give a suggestion, a piece of mana, a piece of healthy food, sliced fruit for you to take with you and for you to check out. Of course, this is only just such a small, infinitesimal sampling of everything that's out there in the cultural arts universe. However, we can only start where we are, so we try to give you a little bit to go on. So, you ready, Winston?
I'm ready to roll.
We're going to get into this?
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. So, I'm going to start us off here. Okay? All right, let's see here. So, there we go. Got the sliced fruit there section. Okay, now we're all ready to go. Now, so maybe the weekend before last, I went to an opening of a show called Peter Williams with So Little to Be Sure at the Whcr Foundation. Now, Peter Williams is a social justice artist in a sense, right? He's an artist whose work is infused with the concept of not only kind of messaging in a sense, but also giving you this kind of visual language that you can take with you as you to kind of deal with many of the dilemmas, the hard work in life, right? So there is a pedagogy to the work of Peter Williams, which may make it sound heavy and boring, but it's not. It's light, it's beautiful, it's engaging, and it confronts viewers with the traumatic reality of systemic violence. So it does all these things. It is the show, with so little to be sure, is curated by Larry Ose Minsa. Now, Larry is, you've probably heard his name around. He's becoming one of the great sources for information as well for the cultural arts here. We're going to get him on the show here soon. But the name of the show, again, is Peter Williams with So Little to Be Sure, curated by Larry Ose Minsa at the QR Foundation. It's going to be up until March 29th, ladies and gentlemen, so you don't have a whole lot more time, okay? Please make sure you get there. So go to the Q Art Foundation, that's QCUE artfoundation.org, and get the info you need to go check it out.
That sounds dope.
Yes.
So if you're into contemporary art, you should check out this exhibit. It's called New Works by Calvin Marcus. Now, I had a chance to look at the works online. I haven't been to the actual gallery yet, but I think this looks really interesting. The gallery is called Clearing. It is on the Upper East Side of New York, and it runs until April 14th. So it's basically a bunch of black and white images kind of put together in these interesting patterns, and it's very minimalist, but I found it very refreshing and just kind of new, and it's something I would definitely check out if you happen to be in the area. So if you want to check that out, go to clearing.com. So just so we're clear, it's C-L-E-R-I-N-G.com.
Interesting URL there.
Yeah, it definitely stands out. It stands out, that's for sure.
To say the least. Okay, all right. So, next up. Coming up. If in the next, let's say, couple of weeks, or 10 days, let's say, starting on the 15th, if you notice a preponderance of fantastic art sourced from Asia, you will know. Now, what exactly that looks like, well, you'll see it when you know it, I suppose, right? If you see this, though, if you notice this, then you will know that you are in the midst of Asia Week, 2018 version. That's right. It's an annual 10-day celebration of Asian art throughout New York, metropolitan New York, that is, because it's not just a city, it's also in New Jersey. And I'll get into that in a minute, just to how that works. It's nonstop exhibitions, auctions, special events, and these are all presented by some of the leading Asian art galleries, international art specialists, major auction houses, and then, of course, some of the great museums and cultural institutions that we have here in the New York metropolitan area, including the China Institute, Asia Society, the Korea Society, the Tibet House, U.S., the Brooklyn Museum, and I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So what you need to do, and this all starts, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, on the 15th. It's going to run to the 24th. So what I need you to do is go to AsiaWeekNY.com, okay? AsiaWeekNY.com, and get to the schedule. There's so much going on over the course of the 10-day celebration that you'll find so much to do, and it's way more than I can even tell you right now. So please go to AsiaWeekNY.com and check it out for yourself.
That sounds dope. Sounds like fun. So if you're looking for something where you can reminisce about New York City back in the late 70s, early 80s, there's an interesting exhibit called Club 57, Film, Performance, and Art in the East Village from 1978 to 1983. Now, of course, as you might know, depending on how old you are, the East Village used to be a very artsy-ish type place. Cheaper rents. There are clubs
It's
like
still a little artsy, right?
It's a little artsy.
But the rent.
But the rent is
Yeah,
yes.
And the rent.
The rent has skyrocketed.
Yeah, something else, right?
You know.
Artsy, but the rent.
Exactly. One of those cool neighborhoods in New York City that you just when you think of maybe artists like Basquiat or someone like that. This kind of goes back into those times, so it takes you to those spots like CBGB's. And it also just takes you back to, it's a kind of a retrospective look. So if you're feeling in the mood for just a bit of a flashback, This is a really interesting exhibit. Now, this one's going to be at the MoMA. It's open until April 1st, so you got a couple weeks if you want to check that out. Seems really interesting. I would say go as soon as you can because once it's gone, it's never coming back.
It's never coming back.
Well, maybe. I guess never. I guess never say never. But just trying to give the people, give them some motivation.
Yeah, no, that's good. So good, some incentive. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
So, hey, I have one, which is my favorite event of the year. The Architectural Digest Design Show. March 22nd through the 25th. At Pier 92-94. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Every year I go and get great ideas. And this year, I will be with Baldwin Hardware. I'm on their design council.
Okay.
That's
You
awesome.
know, every
Nice.
doorknob you touch.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's us. So if you want to learn more, you can go to their website, which is addesignshow.com, or you can come to my website, which is melodyvaughninteriors.com. But Architectural Digest Design Show.
All
You
right.
guys got to check it out.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like
Yeah,
cool.
man,
Sounds
I
good.
love it.
Sounds good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
See, this season when we give you here a sliced fruit, we got more to come to as well. C3Arts Radio. We'll be right back.
Jugué al amor, jugué al amor. Tiempo perdido tan solo fue una ilusión. Jugué al amor, jugué al amor. Le entregué mi corazón a aquella mujer ingrata que el día menos pensado me lo supo destrozar. Me dijo adiós. Me dijo adiós. Yo no le guardo rencor, solo tengo sentimiento de concederle perdón. Como dice aquel refrán, que el que pierde y algo aprende, nada pierde, nada pierde. Ay, qué maldición, maldición, el haberte conocido. Fue que yo jugué al amor y ahora mismo estoy rendido. Ay, qué maldición, maldición, el haberte conocido. Aquella mujer ingrata va a conseguir su castigo.
Yes. And we're back. C3Arts Radio, right here, WHCR 90.3 FM. And we are in the midst of our information giving, letting. No, that sounds terrible.
Releasing, sharing.
Letting. We're in the midst of our segment that we call Sliced Fruit, where we share our
sliced fruit.
I love that.
Where we share our ideas on some things that we think that you should go see, that you should go check out, that you need to put on your schedule, your cultural schedule. Your cultural schedule. So, right in the middle of it, we've been kind of going back and forth there. We know how we do here, and Melody Bond has joined us here, and we're very happy to have her in the midst of our sliced fruit rendering. How about that word, rendering?
Yes, I like that.
Get it in.
Okay.
I want a piece of that fruit too. Hey, slice it up.
So what you thinking here, Winston? What you thinking here?
All right, so changing up things a little bit. There's a exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum called David Bowie Is.
Cool.
Now, I'm a fan of David Bowie.
Yeah.
You know,
Of course, yeah.
not just his music, but also just kind of his style, his persona, and kind of just what he represented. So this
For generations.
Oh, yeah.
For decades, David Bowie was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was doing.
Yeah, apparently he was like, I never had the pleasure of meeting him when he was alive, but I heard he was like a super nice guy. Like, you talk to him on the street, and he just started talking to you about, whatever, and he was just like just a cool dude, a creative guy, and unfortunately gone too soon. But you can look at some of the works of David Bowie at the Brooklyn Museum. It takes a look at some of the works and hundreds of objects on display are mostly from Bowie's expansive creative life, from his teenage years that he spent in England, his long career as a pop superstar, and his years in New York City. So go check that out. That's brooklynmuseum.org. It'll be open for a while until July 15th, so you have a little time. But of course, art waits for no one.
Art waits for no one.
I like that. Art
David
waits for no
Bowie.
one.
Okay.
All right. So back in 2008, we had a kind of rediscovery. It's always good, and it's always great. And one of the great things about what a curator does, what a real curator does, is they go back and they bring something from the past and they shine it back up and they unearth it and they bring it out for a new generation. Well, this happened in 2008 when Trevor Shoemaker, who is the curator at the National Museum of Art, and remember, he was a Brooklynite, but now he's been down there in North Carolina for a while doing fantastic work. And in 2008, Trevor created the exhibition, put together the exhibition, Barclay L. Hendricks, Birth of the Cool. Now, a lot of people have forgotten about Barclay L. Hendricks and the kind of work that he did. And it's very interesting to see now because there's so much that looks like his work. The kind of figures in different pose, the colors that he would use, really bringing figures from often urban black life to the canvas. And we've seen this over and over and over again in the years that have come after Barclay L. Hendricks and his kind of straight ahead, kind of very visceral style that he had with these kind of popping colors that you might not understand just what a trailblazer he was. Well, if you didn't get a chance to see the exhibition, which many people at this point unfortunately probably did not, on the event of his passing, his recent very unfortunate passing, one thing that has come out of this is a second printing of the gallery book, the art book that came out of that exhibition. It has the same title, Barclay L. Hendricks, Birth of the Cool. Now, if you don't have the opportunity to have some of his work, which I wish that we all did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I wish that we all did.
Nice.
This is the next best thing. The copies of the original art book were going for about $350. So, sorry, maybe in some ways this might up that market. but it still gives you a chance to get a new copy, a fresh copy. It will beautify your home. I can tell you that in any kind of way. And as all great art books do, they offer you this kind of world, this kind of insight, this kind of exposure. And all you have to do is just pick it up and take a look through. So this is something for you to check out. Again, it's the Barclay L. Hendricks Birth of the Cool book. You can get it at Duke U Press, other words, Duke University Press, dukeupress.edu, and of course you can also get it on Amazon as well.
Oh, that's cool. I think I'm going to check that out. That's great. I love a good art book.
I definitely want to check that out.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So real quick, for all you hip-hop fans out there, if you feel like listening to some hip-hop, some live hip-hop, at the Highline Ballroom, Thursday, March 15th, we got Joe Budden.
What?
He's
Joe Budden, boy.
I'm going.
Joe
Budden's
cool.
getting a lot of trouble these days. That's why he can still get up there on stage.
Well, no, we're just going to slide by that, Mr. Phillip, and just,
I'm a big Joe Budden fan, to be honest with you. I wish he was still
Budden,
on Everyday Struggle.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, he got off of Everyday Struggle, and
I
I mean that
know.
show really blew up. And like he's a really interesting, talented guy to me because he was a pretty good rapper, and he still is a pretty good rapper. But he's a he's a good personality. Well, he doesn't get along with some people. But if you feel like listening to some good live music, you can check it out Thursday, March 15th at the Highline Ballroom. That's highlineballroom.com. Get your tickets. Also, a quick note: R.I.P. Craig Mack.
Oh yeah,
lost him today.
Sure.
Really, really young, 46 years old. So yeah.
I still remember when I first heard "Flavor in Your Ear." I was
Oh,
blown
I
away.
know.
The original, not the remix.
Oh,
which everyone talks about.
excuse us.
The original. The
Yeah.
original.
The original
I
was
still prefer
really
the
dope.
original.
Yeah,
Oh,
the original's
wow.
dope. I was listening to it on my way here, and I was just like, man,
Yeah.
I
so
know.
good, so good.
Absolutely.
He was my first hip-hop love, too. So,
Oh.
So I have one more, guys.
All right.
Affordable Art Fair.
Okay.
It's a great show as well. I loved it. So the Affordable Art Fair returns to the Metropolitan Pavilion on 18th. It's on 18th Street in the city. So they have about, 70 local and national, international exhibits. And they have over 300 contemporary artists. And the prices range from $100 to $10,000. So somewhere in there, there's something for everyone.
Yeah,
March
absolutely.
22nd to 25th. I know it's the same week as the Architectural Digest show, but
That's right.
it's worth checking out. So you can go to their website or check my website out, and I can tell you a bit more. That's MelodyVaughnInteriors.com.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah,
good. Sounds
right?
good. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. See, sliced fruit, isn't it nutritious and delicious?
I know. I like that. Sliced fruit.
Sliced fruit. Yeah. And we'll have a lot more coming for you for that. You can always go for more information about what's happening out here in the cultural universe. Please go to C3ArtsRadio.com. Also at C3Arts Radio, Instagram and Twitter. And I think that's about it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next Tuesday right here at WHCR 90.3 FM. Check you out later. Bye-bye now.
station. For you and yours, WHCR 90.3 FM.